Hi guys, and welcome back to episode 17 of Saving Schalke. We're here against Bayern Munich in our first game. So since the last episode, we've been only had 2 games in between, and we've come unbeaten on them. But we drew against Hoffenheim 0-0 and beat Mainz 4-0. So we go away to Bayern Munich today, away from home, and then we are away to Hertha Berlin. Currently, as the league stands, we are, 5 plus 8 points behind Bayern Munich in first position. So ideally, we need a win today. And we're only 1 point ahead of Dortmund, but Dortmund do have played a game extra, so we can go 4 points above them with a victory here today. If we look at the side, this is the sort of side that we've been going for throughout the whole season so far, as you have seen. So we've got Georgie in goal, Wagnerman, Kevin, William Saliba, Rugari, Scott, Mariba, Sidi Sane, Cunha, Harvey Elliott and Sesko. We have had to drop Demir as he has picked up an injury, but apart from that, we're going into this game full strength. So let's hope that we can get a victory here today. So let's just get straight into the game and see their starting 11. So if you look at their starting 11, as you expect, that they've got a strong side out today. So they've got Neuer in goal, Dest at right back, Justin, who we had on loan for a bit of last season, Lucas Hernandez and Alphonso Davies at left back. They've brought in Arthur next to Kimmich and Goretzka, Thomas Müller, Leroy Sané, and they've also brought in Vlahovic up front. They still got the likes of Kingsley Coman on the bench, Sabitzer, so they do have a very strong side. So it's going to be a tough game today, but I do expect a relatively good performance from the team today. They've gone for a 4-1-2, so basically a 4-3-3. I'm surprised that Arthur's playing in that centre defensive mid role. I would have expected more Kimmich to play that role, but they've got a strong midfield nonetheless, so let's just see how we get on. Wagnerman here with the free kick, plays the ball over for Sesko, who nods it down to Sidi Sane, but Davis wins it back to Goretzka, and Justin plays the long ball, and Wagnerman wins the header, but it just falls to their man and Goretzka. Vlahovic plays it through to Leroy Sané, an ex-Schalke man, in fact, so let's hope he can't get one over us today, playing against his brother once again, who picks up the seconds and plays Cunha. And then we're just knocking the ball out nicely. Saliba driving forward with it out to Rugari, out to Elliott, who tries to play a ball over to Sesko. Elliott has taken a knock in the opening few moments of the game, and has indicated that he wants to come off. Ideally, we don't want to take him off as we don't really have a replacement. But Leroy Sané here cuts it back and Saliba intercepts and we play it long. But Dest picks up the seconds and plays it up to Thomas Müller. Plays it back to Kimmich, who dinks it over the top to Dest, plays the ball in, and it's 1-0 to Bayern Munich. Not the start that we wanted today. Very disappointing. Dest plays a lovely ball over to Vlahovic. Nicely worked goal by them. I wouldn't say any of our players were really out of position. They just popped it round us and created that space. Obviously, you see Elliott struggling to track back, but apart from, I think it was Sesko trying to track back. But disappointing to be 1-0 down early on. And a highlight here, Saliba plays it over to Kevin, who looks to play over Sane, the top, but Davis intercepts and the ball falls to Wagnerman. But like I was saying, we've been on relatively good form. Few disappointing results here and there. Draws that realistically we should be winning. Mariba just gives the ball away sloppily there. But yes, realistically we should be picking up points against some of the sides that we have dropped points against, but today it's going to be a tough game against Bayern Munich, and Sané's here against his old club, one-on-one with the keeper. Keeper dives, but he takes it round the keeper and plays it back to Thomas Müller. But I think Regari gets in a fantastic block to knock it out for a corner. It has been all one-way traffic so far in the opening 5 minutes of the game. Arthur with the ball in, and we clear it. Sesko looks to break here. 2v2, can we create something? And he's driving quite wide with it. Keeps on driving and puts the ball in. Sané at the back stick, wins the header, but Neuer claims that comfortably. Half an hour of the game now gone. Apart from those early exchanges, we've had no other highlights. With a loss here, it does in fact put us 11 points behind them. So realistically, they would be the runaway leaders of the league. But we've had a few attempts on goal, but ultimately they've still been dominant. And we've actually got a highlight here, and it's Kimmich on the ball, plays it to Dest, into Müller, back to Dest, has a shot, but the shot's blocked. Goretzka wins the header, Vlahovic wins the seconds, and it bounces off the bar, and we clear it to safety. But Sesko looks to turn and go with it, but it plays it back to Mariba, who loses the ball once again. He doesn't look like he's having a good game against Goretzka, Arthur and Kimmich in the middle of the park today. And Goretzka gets the ball in, and Leroy Sané wins the header, but Georgie comfortably saves that. Just before half-time, Neuer's got a goal kick here, out to Justin, up to Dest, up to Müller, and back to Kimmich. So they are playing the ball quite nicely, and they have so far this whole game so far. And they're just popping it around us at the moment. But it looked like we could have intercepted there, but it plays it into Sané, and they are first to every single ball, which is so disappointing. One-on-one with the keeper, looks to dink him, but I think Georgie tips it over the bar. But like I was saying, Bayern Munich just look like they're first to every single ball in this game, which is very disappointing from us. Might have to make some tactical changes coming up into the second game if we just don't look like we're dominating this, because there have been periods where we haven't looked like we've controlled games, even against the low league sides. So I will go into the dressing room and say I'm disappointed and that we need to see something else in the second half, and let's just head straight into the second half now. Coming up to the hour mark, I'm going to make 2 changes. I'm going to bring on Harvey Elliott and bring on Rasic. I'm also going to take off Wagnerman and bring on Kalulu at right back. See if they make any difference in this game. But you can see that Cunha's not playing very well either. So he could potentially be the next substitution that we have to make. With almost 20 minutes to go, I'm going to make that change in taking off Cunha. I'm going to bring on Michael Müller in the centre attacking mid role, see if he can make any creativity in that position, because Cunha didn't, and that left Sesko very isolated up front. So let's hope that Müller can do something about that. So with 10 minutes to go, we've got a highlight here with Dest playing it up. And the ball gets played over to Dest in a lot of space, who's now moved over to left back as Davis has come off. Goretzka on the ball here, plays it into their player, outside to Dest again. Goretzka, they're just keeping the ball so nicely. Scott wins the ball there. Arthur picks up the second though into Sabitzer, who looks to play out Kimmich, who's now moved out to right back since Davis has come off, and they're just knocking it around us so comfortably. Kimmich plays it into Coman, and it's going to go to VAR here. Linesman doesn't look like he's got his flag up, which is one sign that it's going to be given as a goal. And as you can see here, Sabitzer into Goretzka, into Kimmich, who slots it over to Coman, and he's quite comfortably onside there. So it does go 2-0 to Bayern Munich. Following that highlight, we've got a throw in here with Dest again into Goretzka, up to their player, back to Sabitzer, looks out for Leroy Sané, and once again we're outnumbered on that right hand, our left hand side, their right hand side, and Goretzka smashes it against the bar there. So we've quite lucky, and then Kimmich just couldn't get his second cross in. But we were ultimately so lucky there that that didn't ultimately lead to a third goal for Bayern Munich. But with time trickling away here, it's just a disappointing day at the office realistically. Might have to make some tactical changes going into that second game against Hertha Berlin. Obviously they're up there pushing for the European spaces as well. So realistically we do need a victory there. As you can see, our best player, Christopher Scott, on a 6.8. None of our players had a good game today. So I will say that I'm ultimately disappointed with the performance there today. And let's go again against Hertha Berlin. We have now reached a game against Hertha Berlin in the league. It was a January break that we had, or the Christmas break that we had. So we're now halfway through January as well. Yet to make any signings, but we've got 9 million, I think it is, to make a few purchases with that. I forgot to mention earlier on, in the Champions League we've had our draw, and we've had quite a nice draw realistically. We've come up against Sporting Lisbon. So in the next episode I'll show you the first round, or the first game of the knockout round against Sporting Lisbon. However, they, in their group, they did have Liverpool themselves and Atletico Madrid. They knocked out Atletico Madrid, they drew one of the games and then beat them away from home as well. So they could potentially be tough opponents in the cup. Obviously, we played Benfica, so they were in the same league as them. So if we go into Portugal now, you can see that Sporting Lisbon are currently sat in 4th, 8 points behind Benfica. So if we're going off the basis that we beat Benfica quite comfortably, hopefully we can beat Sporting Lisbon as well. But who knows? But our attention is focusing on the Bundesliga at the moment. We've made a few tactical changes. We've brought Cunha into a shadow striker role. And we've brought our wing backs into a complete wing back. So hopefully they can, those new roles can change up the side a bit. Demir has recovered from his injury, but only available for 45 minutes. Our next game is against Dortmund, so I'm going to try and bring him back in for that game. But this is a side we're going for. No changes since the disappointing game against Bayern Munich. But yeah, I think Hertha Berlin could come with a relatively strong side today. They tend to get a big influx of money coming in normally around the second season. But if we look at their side, they've got Pau Lopez, good goalkeeper. Then you've got Demirbay as well. You've got a few players, but their side doesn't jump out at me as a massive contender. So hopefully we can get the 3 points today. I'll tell them that I want to see something better from the last game, and in fact Hertha Berlin are in better form than us, so I will tell them that we need to see something better and try and topple their good form. So let's just head straight into the game now. So Mariba picks up the ball, plays it out to Elliott on the right hand side, knocks it back to Wagnerman, who's driving forward with it. So this is just coming up to the 25 minutes into the game. Cunha picks the ball up, driving forward with it, cuts it across to Sesko, but a fantastic block, I think it was. I don't quite know what happened. I think it was a block, but it was a fantastic chance for Sesko to get a goal. If we do win this game, it ultimately closes the gap up to Bayern Munich before their game later on today against Cologne, who currently sit in 17th. But also the chasing group is slowly catching us. So we do need these 3 points here today so we can extend the gap over the likes of Mönchengladbach, Leverkusen, Freiburg, Hertha Berlin as well. Leipzig are slowly catching us as well. And obviously Dortmund are at the top of the chasing pack. So we do need a victory coming into this game. It's closing in on half time as well. It's bar that one highlight, we've had no highlights, so it's been a very quiet game at the moment. Very even in terms of shots and XG. Realistically, possession, they're slightly dominating on that. But at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is the scoreline. And coming into half time, it's currently 0-0. So I will tell the boys that I'm not overly happy with it at the moment. We need to be creating more efforts, and I think about the hour mark I will look to bring in Yusuf Demir here, and straight away we've got a highlight here with Rugari on the left hand side knocking the ball forward to Sidi Sane, who's driving forward with it, cuts it back to Scott, puts the ball over to Wagnerman far on the right hand side, who has a shot and it's just over the bar. That was so unlucky. It was a nice effort from Wagnerman there. So just coming up to 55 minutes into the game, I'm going to bring on Demir for Harvey Elliott. Elliott's had quite a poor game so far today, along with Sidi Sane. So it's disappointing that both of them had a poor game, but I'll start by taking off Harvey Elliott and see if Demir can come on and make that difference. They've got a corner here. Ball comes across, they win the header and it goes in. So this Solet has literally just signed from, I think it was RB Salzburg, and I was looking at him. They spent 23.5 million on him, a fantastic centre back, and he just Georgie has a poor mistake there, and Solet just taps it in from close range to make it 1-0 to Hertha Berlin. So highlight here with Cunha picking the ball up, plays it back to Rugari, who slots it forward to Sidi Sane. Driving forward with it, looks to get the ball in, but their centre-back intercepts, who plays it back to their keeper, who plays it long, and their striker's just coming forward with it here. Poor challenges have flown in from our players, and Lena on the right-hand side here slots it in, and there we are. So Borja Morial has scored to make it 2-0 to Hertha Berlin. Very disappointed. None of our players seem to get in a strong challenge after they've cleared it forward. And you can just see here, Lena just slots it behind Rugari into the path. And I think that was Scott wasn't tracking back. And Morial has a free header. And it's made it 2-0 to Hertha Berlin. 20 minutes to go here. I'm going to bring on off Sesko and bring on Ransford Yeboah up front, and I'll also bring off Scott and look to bring in Blanco in that position and hope that they can make a slight difference. And we've just had a corner, but it comes to nothing. Sane's just going to pick up the loose scraps on the edge of the area, and ball comes in straight into the keeper's arms of Pau Lopez. So this first 70 minutes has been ultra disappointing. We haven't looked at all threatening in any shape or form. Hopefully in the next 20 minutes we can pull at least one goal back, if not two, because like I was saying earlier, the chasing group are slowly catching us, and it's disappointing for being in such a comfortable position earlier on in the season. But Mariba picks it up into Cunha, Sane across to Wagnerman on the right hand side, going to pull it back, but no one's in the box, and that's constant at the moment. No one's getting in the box for anyone putting the balls across. So 20 minutes to go here, currently 2-0 down. It doesn't look we don't look at all threatening realistically. So with a couple of minutes left to go, we haven't created anything at all since. Looking at the XG, it does look like we deserve a goal. And Wagnerman's got a throw in here into Demir, back to Mariba. Sort of puts the ball in for a cross. I don't quite know what it was. It looked like a cross shot sort of thing. And they clear it once they win it back into Mariba. Tries to play the ball over the top, but it's once again very loose. And they look like we can't create anything, and it's so disappointing after the start that we had at the beginning of the season. Cunha's got the ball here, slots in Ransford Yeboah, one-on-one with Pau Lopez, and Pau Lopez makes a fantastic save and knocks it out for a corner here. But by losing this as well today, it gives Dortmund the chance to catch up to us. They would only be 1 point behind us after lost to Bayern Munich earlier on in the episode, and they've got a game in hand now. So instead of potentially going 4 points ahead of them earlier on, they could go 2 points ahead of us coming into the next episode. And we need to change the form around rapidly if we want anything. It looks like that Demir could have been pushed here, so it looks like it's going to VAR to see whether it was or wasn't. And then hopefully we can win a penalty here, which we have. But I think it's just going to be a consolation goal. It's coming up to the 92nd minute. I wonder who's going to be taking this. So you've got Cunha. Slots it home to make it 2-1. But like I was saying, it's just going to be a consolation goal. It's his 12th goal of the season. We just haven't looked very good at all this game. And they've sort of run away with it in some respects, Hertha Berlin. They've just looked very dominant. But looking at XG, it does look like we deserved more from the game. At least a draw would have been nice. However, that is it. And we've come away with a 2-1 loss. And I will say to them, I'm disappointed. And I will go and have a team talk here before the next game against Dortmund, and then ultimately Sporting Lisbon in the next coming episode. But yes, as you can see here, we've got Dortmund coming up in the next league game. But I'll bring you back just before the Sporting Lisbon game. That will be the second game of next episode. I can't remember who the first game is against, but I'll come back for that, and then the following episode would be the first round of the knockout. So I'll come back for the game against Freiburg first of all, and then I'll come back for the Sporting Lisbon Mönchengladbach the following episode after that. But if you have enjoyed today, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out our Instagram below, share amongst your friends and everything like that. But apart from that, I'll see you in next episode.